Hi, hello, how are you? You're listening to I've Always Said That with your host Brad for Survivor 49, Episode 8. Let's get into it. So last episode we had the merge episode. Obviously, crazy shit happens, lines are drawn. I feel like this is where the game really starts and people really got to kick it into gear. And to say the least, they kicked it into gear. We had the first member of the jury, Nate, voted out of the core OG Uli Alliance, who thought they were running the game. So we had Rizzo, Savannah, Nate, and Soph, sorry. Got to remember, there's two Sophies. So Soph, Blue Sophie, in this core alliance, and they thought they had a couple other people. Needless to say, they in fact did not. So, coming back from Tribal, the Uli 3 and Soph are absolutely bamboozled at what happened. Soph contemplates cutting Rizzo and Savannah. She's like, obviously, I've been put on the bottom. I was with them by a circumstance. Yes, I did form a good connection with them, but being associated with them, is that just going to drag my game down? And I think that's a very fair way of thinking after what's just happened. I mean, Soph's been through a lot in this game after being on the OG Kelly tribe and then finally getting a grasp of something substantial with Uli, but then this happening. I understand why she'd want to possibly think about leaving him to the dust. Like, can't really blame her there. Jawan has feelings about MC playing her idol, like not telling her. And I'm like, do you know what game you're playing? Like, you're not going to get told everything, babe. It's Survivor. I wouldn't really be that mad if someone, especially not my closest ally. I don't think I ever saw MC and Jawan talk about anything before this, really, of note. So I don't understand why Jawan would think MC would have to tell him anything about an idol. But okay, sure. He also does some damage control with Rizzo, but has no intention of working with him or Savannah, and basically says that they are the next two to go. If everything goes to plan, they'll be gone. Alex believes that an idol might be back in play, and I'm like, well, fair enough. That's usually how it works. So he goes and does a little search. He's with Steven and Christina, and they say it's more of like a defensive search so that their alliance has the idol and they don't have to worry about anyone else getting it and having to think about it too much. And I'm like, yep, good plan. Who finds the idol? Christina finds the idol. And I'm so happy for her. Like, once again, one of these players that's not getting a lot of screen time. And I'm like, is it the fact that she's not doing a lot? I'm not sure. But she finds the idol, and now Steven and Christina, and Alex obviously all know about it. And she says, don't tell anyone. I'm like, okay. Alex is like, look, I'm glad no one on the opposite side has it. Obviously, I wish it was me. But in this circumstance, knowledge is everything. Knowing that she has it and where the idol is, I think is very important, and Alex understands that. So hopefully he can use that to his advantage if he needs to. Jawan and Steven are talking, and they confirm that Savannah is indeed the next target because Jawan is afraid of her. I'm like, you're afraid of her because you kept using her shit on the Uli beach. And you're a bit of a pushover. So that's why. And I think that's fair. Savannah is kind of marking herself up as a big threat. She knows how to play the game. She's got the social game, and everyone's seen her in action. So fair enough. Sage and Soph chat, and Sage opens up about her distaste of Savannah, and they're kind of like building a bit of trust, like kind of bonding over it. And this is where Soph's like, well, I was only with them because of circumstance, and Sage is like, oh yeah, of course. So Sage is actually beginning to form a relationship with Soph and building this trust. But then they go and chat with Savannah immediately, and Savannah can kind of tell that she's on the bottom. She doesn't really have much to work with here, especially with Sage, and she has a bit of a breakdown. She tells this story about this traumatic situation she had with her job. Like, she's a news reporter or presenter or something, and she was basically iced out by everyone for years, I think 2 years or something. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I guess that obviously that'd bring up those feelings a lot with you here. So sure. But I'm also in this situation. I'm like, do we always have to bring in the outside world? I don't know if I'm just being like too harsh, because I actually do really like Savannah. I think she's a great player. But I'm just like, you're going to be on the outs in Survivor sometimes. Like, sure. But I do like the way how she's using this story. She's using this moment to build a connection with Steven. I think that's going about it the right way. And I'm like, okay, That's where I accept it. You get a point for that. Sure. So we're at the challenge. You gotta survive a classic, brace against 2 walls, and balance on narrow footholds. You gotta move down as time goes on. Sure. But there's a twist, because there's always a freaking twist. 2 groups of 5, and I'm like, okay, so 2 tribals, they're gonna vote out 2 people. This is what they usually do for like the Murgatory vote. But no, the winning group will not go to tribal. 5 losers will go to tribal and vote someone out. I'm like, damn. And person who lasts the longest overall gets an advantage, as well as reward. So the winning 5 teams get reward of DIY sandwiches. I'm like, Jesus, okay, there's a lot in here, but I like it. I like it, but I don't. I hate the splitting up. Like, why the fuck did they merge if they were just going to split them up immediately? I'm like, no, just let them all vote together. Just stop meddling with that. Like, they've had enough. I liked the double tribe swap in the pre-merge section, but now just let them play the game. If you're going to throw in twists, make it like advantages and stuff like that. Don't do this, okay? But anyway, so on the blue team, we've got Sage, Rizzo, MC, Jawan, and Sophie. And then on the yellow team, we've got Steven, Christina, Soph, Alex, and Savannah. They go through it. There's not much to say. They're just balancing on these tiny footholds. It ends up with a showdown between Savannah for blue and Sophie for yellow. No, Savannah for yellow, Sophie for blue. I'm getting confused because it's yellow Sophie, but for team blue. Just vote one of them out, please. It's too confusing. Sav ultimately pulls it out and wins immunity and reward for her yellow, as well as an advantage for herself. And to say she needed it this time is a massive understatement. I think if she didn't win immunity, she was definitely going home. So she's really helped herself there. Sage, Rizzo, MC, Jawan, and Sophie for tribal. And let's just say Rizzo is easily on the bottom of this group. But he has an idol. And because of all these factors, it's like, yes, the core alliance here, Sage, MC, Jawan, and Sophie. Rizzo is obviously on the bottom, so that would make it generally a boring vote. But he has an idol. And it's also Rizzo. So I'm like, oh, this could actually be quite interesting. I wonder what's going to happen here. So they have to go back to the old Uli Beach. They don't get contact with the winning 5, so they have to figure it out for themselves. The plan is to vote Rizzo and tell Rizzo that it's actually Sophie. And Sophie comes up with this plan as to be the decoy herself, because she is this like challenge beast. And I'm like, is she a challenge beast? Like, don't get me wrong, she's doing really, really well. But it's been 2 individual immunity challenges now. Like, and she's won 1. Yes, she came close in the second one, obviously, but I don't know if you got that challenge beast. Like, I think I'm underplaying it. She does very well, obviously, so, and I think this is a believable plan. In fact, so Rizzo does believe the plan, and I'm like, Rizzo, come on now, you know better than this. Sophie says to MC, however, that the 3 of them will put votes on Rizzo, MC, Jawan, and Sage, but then she's going to put one on Jawan in case Rizzo does, in fact, play his idol. So it goes to a tie, and then they can vote off Jawan instead of Sophie. And I'm like, smart girl. This is thinking, because of like putting yourself up as the decoy with no backup plan. Crazy, stupid. I don't know why you would ever do that. But she's got this plan. And I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not a big Jawan fan. Let's do it. Let's roll with it. What does MC do? She goes and tells Jawan. She does this to rebuild trust because he didn't like that she played the idol without him knowing last week. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. Sure. Does Jawan... The question here to make if this is a good strategic move or not is Jawan a more important and necessary player in her game than Sophie? I'm unsure. They're both not high risk, I want to say. I want to say Sophie is more of a target than Jawan, and I guess Jawan does technically have more connections, so I mean, it does kind of make sense. Like, I get it. As much as it annoyed me because I really like Sophie, I want to say it does make sense for MC's game a little bit. But then this part is going to backfire on her because, well, I'll get to it. We go over to the winning group and they discuss what they think is going to happen and everything. They all think that Sophie is going to get the boot because Rizzo will play his idol, so then she's going to be the target as the challenge beast. Sav is like going to go get her advantage, of course. That's what it's called. She's like, okay, I'm going to go get my advantage, see what it is, sort of thing. She gets to Tree Mail and the immunity necklace is there. I'm like, oh, what's happening here? She gets to go to the losing 5 and be a part of Tribal and vote, but she is obviously immune. But she doesn't have to vote. She can then take the vote and keep it as an extra vote for another time. And I'm like, this is a really good twist. I like this. I think this is a great idea. So she gets on a boat and she boats past the others and they're all like, what's happening? And she's just sitting there waving with an immunity necklace on like, la da 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 bye. She's going to go cause chaos and revenge, as she says, for being on the bottom of the last vote. I'm like, absolutely. This is great TV. This is what I love to see. So back to the losing 5, and Jawan tells Sage what MC told him. He's so paranoid and everything's already turning a little bit chaotic, which I think works out so perfectly for Rizzo, obviously. Sage then goes and tells Sophie. So the circle is complete. Sage tells MC. MC tells Jawan. Jawan tells Sage. Sage tells Sophie. Everybody knows about it now. And Sophie's like, oh, fuck's sake, basically. Sophie goes to Jawan. And I'm like, you know what? Good on you. Just own up to it and see. Well, you kind of have to at this point. It's like, your game's blown up. She kind of just like, I had to play the self-defense card. But then she also plays on the fact that MC is untrustworthy, kind of itching back at Jawan's sort of insecurities about her from the Idol play last episode. You know? Savannah arrives and she tells everyone that she's there. She's obviously immune. She got the necklace on and she is participating in the vote, which just Sage is just absolutely thrilled about. You know, she's like, oh, great. The 2 people I like least, one's immune and the other one's got an idol. I'm like, Sage, you can't catch a break, can you, love? She tells Rizzo the whole truth, though, that she doesn't actually have to vote. I'm like, smart. Sav tells Rizzo that the rest thought that Sophie would be the one to go. And this is where I think Rizzo says something really smart. He's like, well, they all want Sophie to go. She's obviously the target. Why are we doing other people's dirty work? Let's go for someone like MC. And I'm like, that's so smart because obviously Rizzo was the original target. If Rizzo's going to target someone, it's going to be Sophie. But if everyone would already assume that Sophie is the target, they're subconsciously targeting Sophie in their minds that that's who they would go for. So why would they target Sophie and do other people's dirty work when they can target MC? And then Sophie would be possibly a next vote, which gives them another round. So smart. I think this is absolute excellent gameplay. And I'm like, I'm here for it. I really hope that they can pull it off. I'm rooting for them. They're like, MC's web is big. She's got connections with lots of people, whereas Sophie's is actually not. So if he picks up Sophie and also saves her against MC, not only do they possibly buy themselves another round, they also possibly gain an ally in Sophie. And I'm like, this is so good. So the vote now seems to be between Rizzo, Sophie, and MC. They're kind of like, do we just go for Rizzo? Do we just go for the original plan? Is he going to be too cocky and not play his idol again? We don't know. But now there's this distrust between Sophie and MC because then their names have possibly been thrown out and MC told Jawan about Sophie's intention to vote him. There's lots of dynamics going on and I'm like, this is a really fun and exciting tribal. I'm excited for it. At tribal, Sophie just comes out and says, it's me or MC. And I'm like, ooh, okay, so you've just saved Rizzo. I think that was kind of a crazy thing to do, and obviously that kind of turns MC against her, because MC is like, well, if you think it's between me and you, you're obviously just going to be voting for me, so I'm going to have to vote for you. And I don't think it was that simple, but then it's just been made that simple. As Jeff is about to call to vote, MC gets up, and it's a live tribal. It's all the first live tribal of the season. I'm like, yes, some people really don't like the live tribal, but I'm here for it. Yes, we don't really know what's going on, but it just adds this layer of just like everyone's so confused, and I just love watching their faces. And I'm like, this is amazing. I would be shitting it if I was Rizzo, though, to be honest. I'm like, do I play the idol? Do I not play the idol? I'm really like panicking, and I'm like, is Savannah going to vote? Is she going to save the vote? If she doesn't vote, is it going to be like a bit of a split vote and people are going to notice that she didn't vote? That's another thing to come into it. Ultimately, Savannah chooses not to use her vote, which I think is a good move after the chaos. Like, I'm here for it. And will Rizzo play his idol? He does not play his idol. So he keeps his idol. Savannah has an extra vote. Those two, dangerous duo, saying right now. The votes come out. MC is voted out 4-1. It is unanimous. Obviously, they don't get to see all the votes. Jeff's like, that's 3, that's enough. Oh, did he say that's 3 or that's 4? I can't remember. But they say if that's 3, then they'd be like, oh, it needs to be 4 to be enough. So I wonder if any of them are going to pick up on that, actually. But regardless, MC is voted out and is the second member of the jury. I think she was a great game player. I think she was really good in challenges herself. I think here they just got ousted by a twist and Savannah and Rizzo's ultimate gameplay, really. I think they're positioning themselves as a real threat. And if they don't vote it out soon, I think they're going to make a deep run in this game. But I'm here for it, and I'm supporting them. So let me know who you're supporting in the comments and what you thought of this episode of Survivor 49. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at I've Always Said... Instagram and Facebook. Instagram and TikTok at I've Always Said That pod. Leave a comment, subscribe, review. It really means a lot to us here at the channel. This has been Brad Buckland for I've Always Said That for Survivor 49. Thank you. You're welcome. Love you. Bye.